I booked 2 separate rooms at the Ritz-Carlton. One wheelchair accessible and one not wheelchair accessible. And I wanted to see what the difference would be between these rooms. So come with me to Palm Springs and we'll find out together. Overall, the property was very beautiful. I mean, just look at the pool, this candy bar, the views. I mean, you're surrounded by majestic mountains and all you want to do is go outside and look at them. We went stargazing as well, and this was a complimentary event hosted by a Ritz-Carlton staff member. I got to see a star that was 37 light years away. And we went to this restaurant called The Edge, and as you can guess, it's right at the edge of the hotel. They offer cocktails, mocktails, and some of the best food that you'll ever had. I had a Wagyu steak that was level 7, I think. I don't know. I heard that the spa was nice. I didn't get the chance to try the spa, but they offer facials and massages. And so yeah, overall the property is very elegant. Now there is some things that you should know when you're booking a wheelchair accessible room at this location. Number 1 is at this Ritz-Carlton location, there are only rooms facing the mountain area, which is actually quite nice, and I preferred it anyways. So it was very scenic and beautiful, but just know that you won't have any options of rooms facing the pool or any part of the Ritz-Carlton property. It's only rooms facing the mountainside. These next 2 things about a wheelchair accessible room are kind of on a more critical side. For example, only junior suites are wheelchair accessible at this Ritz-Carlton location, and as a result, there are a couple $100s more than your standard Ritz-Carlton base hotel room. And in addition to that, they only offer king-size beds, and so no double to queen beds or anything like that. There are only 1 king beds that are wheelchair accessible, that are in the wheelchair accessible rooms. But you can either get a cot that is free of charge, complimentary, or you can book another room right next to the wheelchair accessible room, and you can have the rest of your party there if those needs fit. The one thing about having a cot is that it's nice that it's complimentary and in that regard. But my main concern is that when the cot gets rolled in, again, I didn't order a cot, so maybe it could be differently, but it would appear that it would block a lot of your entryway as the cot would be rolled into the main walkway of the room. And so my main concern with the cot is that it kind of defeats the purpose of having a wheelchair accessible room. Now moving on to the differences between a wheelchair accessible room and a non-wheelchair accessible room. I was surprised on how accessible the non-wheelchair access room was. And before I get into my comparison, I would like to know, what are some accommodations that are most important to you when it comes to booking a wheelchair accessible room? When you enter in the room of the non-wheelchair accessible junior suite, you'll notice that the biggest difference is the bathroom. And when you walk or roll into the bathroom, there is a humongous shower, and then there's like a bathtub that's in the shower. It is something that I have not yet seen. It looks really cool, and you know, there's like tile all over the place and material that looks like marble. I don't know, I'm not an architect, but it's really fancy. And I was actually surprised. I was able to squeak my wheelchair into sink and shower bathroom area. I, however, was not able to go into the toilet area, as that was like a separate door area that was smaller, so that is something that you want to keep in mind. Also, in terms of getting out, it was a little bit tricky getting out. I had to do a little squeezing and a little finagling when it came to exiting the bathroom area. But again, this is a non-wheelchair accessible room. And so if you are someone who is an ambulatory wheelchair user, you might consider booking a non-wheelchair access room. Now going to the wheelchair accessible room. One thing that you'll notice straight away is that in this bathroom, obviously it's wide enough, I can enter through my wheelchair, but this is a roll-in shower, so this one doesn't have any clear doors or handles. It does have a curtain, but the entire space, instead of it being a shower and a bathtub, it's just a roll-in shower, which is usually the best option for people in wheelchairs. And so what was also a nice touch was that there was towels on the ground, because if you've ever used a wheelchair accessible shower, you will know that there isn't any steps, and so as a result, water can easily get on the floor and become more slippery. So it was nice that the staff preemptively put towels on the floor. I can reach the sink, and I can access the toilet from my wheelchair if I needed to transfer. So both the toilet and the shower were wheelchair accessible, along with the sink. I was able to move from the concierge to some of the business rooms. Very flat area, and that's the thing about a lot of the hotels in the US, especially ones that are hotel chains, is that usually you can depend on the hotel being flat in that regard, and being able to easily glide into one room into another. The only accessibility difficulty that I had was the back terrace, which is right next to the breakfast or bar area. It was just a staircase, and for a few moments I was kept on searching, because it's not typical for a hotel in the US just to completely not have wheelchair access. So I asked a member of the Ritz-Carlton, and as you'll see in the video, there is a back way that you enter through the terrace. You did have to go like down the hall and then like pass a couple doors, and so it wasn't intuitive, but nevertheless it was there, and I was able to enjoy the same views as my non-disabled counterparts. And that is my review of the Ritz-Carlton in Palm Springs. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and a thumbs up. I hope to see you soon, but until next time, enjoy your journey, travelers.